Greetings, everyone. You should now be moving into the cooling learning unit in Greenhouse Management Online. It's kind of fitting to give you your introduction to the cooling unit because it's a very hot day here. I've kind of turned off the cooling system so that I can be picked up on the microphone, and it's starting to get really hot in here. And it's getting hot even though it's probably in the 70s Fahrenheit outside. But we have a lot of solar radiation coming in. And that is one thing to keep in mind as you go through the cooling section here is we deal with cooling in greenhouses as well as other controlled environments, but particularly greenhouses, because we may not simply have to cool just because of the outside air temperature, but even when the outside air temperature is optimal, we will have a lot of solar radiation coming in that gets trapped and heats the environment inside. And that's where that term greenhouse effect comes from. So we may have to, depending on light levels, solar radiation, as well as outside air temperatures, we may have to be cooling the greenhouse any time during the year. There could be periods of time during the winter, depending on our crops and our light levels and whatnot, that we may actually have to do some types of cooling even in the winter. But as you have studied in the heating unit, we often have to add heat energy in order to elevate the temperature to a desired or optimal level for that crop. We also may have to cool, removing heat energy from the greenhouse in order to reduce the temperature to the desired level. This is particularly a case anywhere, but especially if we're in subtropical and tropical climates, we probably are much more concerned for a larger part of the year with cooling than we are with heating. I am standing here in front of a wet wall or a pad that is one part of what you'll learn about with a fan and pad cooling system. My fans are on the other side, but a very common cooling system. That's an example of an active cooling system, meaning we actually use energy in cooling the greenhouse. That's one type of an active system. You're going to learn about different types of passive and active cooling systems in this learning unit. Passive systems being like what you can't see, but above me we have roof vents that we could simply open, allow the hot air to move out, really using no energy for that. That's why it's passive. Or various active cooling systems such as swamp coolers or positive pressure coolers, fog coolers, or this system, a fan and pad system, where we're actually using or expending energy to actively cool the structure. So work your way through the cooling unit just as you did the heating unit. Keep in mind those two units encompass a lot of what we do to maintain or manipulate temperature in our greenhouse environment. A few quick maintenance notes here for you. Some of you have asked. In Blackboard, in your grade book, Blackboard does not necessarily show you your accurate grade the way it works. And I know some of you are thinking, well, why can't you just get that fixed? When you look in your grade book, it doesn't function in Blackboard, unfortunately, and you would think it would as a spreadsheet. So it doesn't actually add up your scores in the way we're using them. And what I mean by that, for example, you will see your pretest scores if you took the pretest. That does not count, and when I go to do your grade, we will be closing that out. We won't count that. All of your learning tasks are only for extra credit. So they only get added sort of to the top line of your grade determination. The self-exams, the midterms, the final do count. So what you should do if you want to know how you're running right now is you add up all the points you've earned, excluding the pretest. Add up the points from the learning tasks. Add up the points from the self-exams. Add up points you earn when we do midterm exams. Go to the syllabus and look under the grading section. And based on the institution you're located at, whether you're LSU, Mississippi State, Oklahoma State, or Arkansas, or if you're from the professional section, you'll see under grading in the syllabus, I tell you the maximum total points. And what you do is simply take the points you've earned that Blackboard is adding up and divide it by that maximum. And that's where you currently stand. That's what I'm going to do. The points you earn, divide it by the max. So those learning tasks extra credit points only end up going in that top line that I divide by that maximum that you see in there. So yes, learning tasks will ultimately be only extra credit points. Self-exams, midterm exams, final, and mandatory. The pre-test and the post-test, when you check that, will be weeded out and won't count at all. So make sure you're paying attention again to all of your due dates, not missing due dates, and go ahead and begin working your way through the cooling learning unit.